In a small village nestled between majestic mountains, there lived a young boy named Asim. Day after day, he toiled in the fields from dawn till sunset, working tirelessly to earn his daily bread. His shoulders slumped under the weight of exhaustion as he yearned for a life that was just a little less burdensome. Asim's parents had passed away when he was very young, leaving him to fend for himself. However, his father had left him a small wooden box, its surface worn smooth by time, and had advised him to never open it unless he felt the world itself was against him. Young Asim had listened, tucking the box away into his most private chambers, its secrets safe within its weathered heart. Now, as the years slipped by, the memory of his father's words resonated deeply within Asim. The village where he resided was like a cage that confined him on all sides. The towering mountains blocked the path ahead, the memories of his parents held him back, and the looming presence of Sheikh Rashid, the village strongman, kept him perpetually anxious. Rashid, with his piercing gaze and iron-like grip on the village, owned every inch of the land and controlled the very lifeblood of the community, the water. For Rashid saw in Asim a growing threat to his long-held dominance, a threat that could shatter the fragile peace he had so carefully constructed. Asim, unaware of the danger he posed to Rashid's power, continued to work the land, his spirit unbroken by the hardships he faced. His diligence and kindness won him the love of the villagers, and soon he became a respected figure in their eyes. But this only fueled Rashid's paranoia, turning the once indifferent man into a scheming, vengeful force. He started by ordering his men to rob Asim's meager savings, believing that by stripping him of his worldly possessions, he would also break his spirit. And then came the accusations, the false claims that shattered Asim's reputation and cast him in a light that was both unexpected and horrifying. They said he had stolen a valuable jewel from the sheik's wife, a cruel trick designed to tarnish his name and isolate him from the very people who had loved him. Despite his innocence, the villagers, influenced by Rashid's cunning, turned against him, their whispers cutting deeper than any blade could ever manage. Asim found himself alone, his dignity and livelihood stripped away, his future as uncertain as the shifting sands of the desert. In a moment of despair, he was dragged before the village judge, a puppet in Rashid's game, and sentenced to years in prison, a fate that seemed like the end of his story. As they led him to the dungeon, stripping him of his last remaining possessions, Asim felt a surge of anger and sadness. It was then that he remembered his father's words, the ones that had kept him going all these years. He reached under his worn-out clothes and pulled out the small wooden box, its presence a comforting constant in the maelstrom of his life. With trembling hands, he opened the box. Inside, nestled in a bed of faded cloth, was a rolled-up piece of parchment. Unfurling it slowly, he read his father's message. "O son, injustice does not last, but silence extends his life. Do not be afraid. Face the mountains will fall if you speak." These words were like a beacon in the darkness, guiding Asim towards a path he hadn't seen before, a path that led to hope. The next day, Asim stood before the judge, his gaze steady despite the turmoil within. He told everyone what he knew about al-Rashawi, about Rashid's threats, about the silence of the witnesses. His voice was weak, but it carried the weight of truth. And as he spoke, something extraordinary happened. The villagers who had remained silent, paralyzed by fear, began to stir. Peasants, servants, even the palace guard, one by one they started to speak, their voices weaving a tapestry of solidarity that echoed through the courtroom. The walls that had imprisoned Asim's hopes were crumbling, and with each word spoken, they were replaced with the pillars of justice. By the end of the week, Rashid's carefully constructed world came crashing down. His influence, built on fear and silence, was dismantled brick by brick. Asim did not emerge from prison as a hero, but as a free man, his spirit stronger than ever. He had learned that justice, like a seed, needed to be watered by the courage of truth, and that true strength lay not in physical power, but in the unyielding spirit of a single voice. So the tale of Asim reminds us that no matter how daunting the odds may seem, the smallest voice, when fueled by truth, can shake the mightiest of mountains.